That mask of yours, it shines like a crown hammered out of fear. In Westeros, kings buried weakness under furs and jewels. You chose steel. I wonder what's worse, hiding from enemies, or hiding from the people you rule. Do they kneel because they believe in Victor Von Doom, or because the mask tells them there's nothing human left to question?
The mask doesn't erase the man. It refines him. Flesh wavers, steel does not. My people bow because their bellies are full, their streets safe, their children asleep without nightmares. They do not need my face, only the order I provide. But tell me, Daenerys, when the bells rang in King's Landing and the city bent in surrender, what did you see that demanded fire anyway?
I saw Cersei gambling with lives as if they were her dice. The bells weren't surrender. They were a bluff to trap me into mercy that would be repaid in blood later. I knew the wheel would never stop while she breathed. Fire was finality. Tell me, Doom, when Galactus towered above the world, did you kneel for Latveria's survival? Or because you longed to test yourself against eternity?
I knelt to buy time, not to worship. Pride does not outweigh survival. Reed Richards would have called death noble and left a widow clutching ashes. I secured life, but answer me. Your father promised fire as salvation too. Ares left only ruin and corpses. What made your fire liberation while his became madness? Was it vision? Or was it just your name written differently in history?
Ares burned for himself. I burned for the world that chain strangled. He wanted Asher's throne. I wanted the wheel shattered so no child grew up property. The fire was aimed, not endless. Since you ask of fathers, let me ask of rivals. After all your victories, does Latveria matter more to you? Or does proving yourself better than Reed Richards drive everything?
Richards is a mirror I surpass, not the reason I rise. Latveria is proof that my vision holds where his collapse is. He chases applause, I build nations. But let me cut closer. Jon Snow's blade in your heart. Was that treachery of love, or the world telling you'd gone too far? If he had knelt instead, would you have trusted yourself to stop burning?
Jon didn't kneel because he feared what he couldn't control. The dagger wasn't mercy. It was weakness dressed as duty. You know the taste of weakness too, Victor. Susan Storm once told you she saw a savior trapped inside the tyrant. Did those words sting enough to make you doubt the mask? Or did you weld it tighter so no one could see the hesitation?
I welded it tighter. Compassion clouds judgment. I rule because doubt never outruns design. Latveria doesn't need me vulnerable, it needs me absolute. Tell me this though, Astapor and Meereen. You freed them with dragons, yet a year later they tore themselves apart. Did liberation last? Or did it collapse the moment your fire moved on to another city?
They stumbled, yes, but stumbling as free men is worth more than marching perfectly in chains. They argued, they fought, but they breathed on their own terms. That breath became my proof. Now answer me. When the Beyonder handed you godhood, did the taste of infinite power teach you restraint? Or did it leave you hungrier than ever to become more than a man?
It taught me discipline. Holding infinity revealed how fragile life becomes when reduced to equations. I chose to rule as a man with control, not a god with delusion. You, though, you reduced King's Landing to ash and called it freedom. If fate dropped you into Gotham instead of Westeros, would you burn the Joker where he stood, or would you try to redeem chaos itself?
Gotham is just Westeros with taller buildings. The Joker wears madness like armor. Fire would be his only cure. No redemption for men who kill for sport. But tell me, Victor, your Latveria sings of prosperity, yet how much choice does a farmer truly have? Does he choose his path? Or does your order decide what his children will become before they're even grown?
He chooses enough to live without fear. He works, he eats, his children grow up secure. That's more freedom than most of the world offers. But let me throw your own flames back. Cersei could have been chained, paraded, tried. You chose annihilation. Was that leadership or vengeance dressed as justice?
A trial needs judges who aren't bought, and King's Landing had none. Fire was the only verdict no coin could twist. But answer me this. If Richards came tomorrow and swore loyalty to Latveria for 1 year, would you let him in to prove your empire grows genius? Or would you lock the doors to keep him from ever stealing your stage?
He'd sabotage the year and write essays calling me tyrant. Richards thrives on undermining, not building. I invest in loyalty that endures. Now your turn. Your Dothraki crossed seas for glory. If you had claimed Winterfell as your capital, Would they have learned peace in the snow? Or would their hunger for battle have torn the North apart?
They would have found purpose if given it. Glory can bend when shown a new horizon. Let's cross to another battlefield. Thanos snapped half the universe for balance. That sounds like your logic. Sacrifice for stability. If the gauntlet had fallen into your hand, would Latveria survive by halving the world, or would you reject the math of murder?
I'd break the gauntlet and design a better answer. Sacrifice is a failure of imagination. Now let me press you. Varys spread letters naming your claim, warning lords you couldn't be trusted. Could you have used whispers instead of fire? Or had trust already become so poisoned that words meant nothing by then?
Trust had turned into daggers in smiles. They wanted me to wait while children still suffered. I couldn't wait. Let me pierce your armor. When you remove that mask at night, does the man underneath still feel human? Or have you worn it so long that you can't tell where victor ends and doom begins?
The man remains, but duty outweighs comfort. Weakness hides in bare faces. I don't indulge it. Now let me turn it. When Associ mothers tell their children of you, do they sing of chains broken? Or do the children cough smoke and remember the day their skies burned? Which memory do you think survives longer?
Both. Fire doesn't come clean. Chains end in scars, not songs. But scars mean freedom existed. I never wanted lullabies. I wanted people to wake up. Tell me this. Victor, if Latveria had Wakanda's hidden metal, its brilliance, would you share it with the world to raise all? Or would you bury it under mountains to keep your order untouched?
I'd share enough to uplift and guard enough to deter greed. Too much openness makes empires like Asgard, bright, complacent, blind to knives at their door. Let me ask you, when Bran the Broken was crowned by words on parchment, no war, no dragon, no fire, did that wound you deeper than Jon's blade? A council achieved what you sacrificed everything to win.
Paper crowns fade as fast as ink. The North broke away the moment it suited them. Fire terrifies because it's real. But let me cut deeper. Your daughter, Valeria. If she stood before you and begged for fewer walls, more freedom, would you listen? Or would you hand her the mask and teach her to love the weight you carry?
I'd teach her why the walls exist, then loosen them finger by finger to see if the sky holds. If it cracks, I'd rebuild stronger. But tell me, if Drogon circled Latveria tonight and flames licked the flag, would you burn schools, hospitals, and children just to prove Latveria bends? Or would you hesitate when the fire saw faces instead of thrones?